Miles Luther getting ready for his start. Pritchard from Caledonia waiting for his start.
Derek Pitcher on course.
And this is Derek Pitcher from Caledonia on the GS course. On course for the women's side, Caledonia, that is Aaron Peckham. Looks like Derek has lost both skis. That's going to be a DQ over on the GS side. We'll put a hold on that one. Still skiing on the slalom side though. This is Aaron Peckham.
Double eject. We might need to check his dims. Yeah. So then you have to pick each one.
Woo! Aaron Peckham with the time of 41.88.
Derek looked great until he double ejected. Aaron looked nice. Yes, Derek leaned heavily. Stand on. Awesome. Chad can just stand there and hug it the whole time. Yeah, Chad. It didn't look like he did, but I'll just fog it up. Blow on it. Oh, Jen did. Yeah. Still, I don't know. She's like, you danced on first. Right. She's excited.
You should have been beats.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is,
on course on the slalom side, we have Glen Lake's Willa Murray just entering the top of the course. And Willa Murray coming through the finish with a time of 31.67. That's a 3:1.67. Now on course for the boys. Onekma's Braden Sorensen.
I grabbed one and then after here I was like, oh, what's my fifth? And I'll be all right.
And that is Braden Sorensen coming through with a 20.38. That's a 20.38. Currently putting him first place. Over on the women's side, that's Lila Wolf from Busy Central. Just finished up Willa Murray. That time was a 31.67.
Do they have a baby face enough?
That is Colin Casman from Glen Lake making his first one. And again, Lily Wolf working her way through the flush down here at the bottom. Lily coming through with a time of 31.75. That's a 31.75. Colin Casman working his way to the finish line, coming through with a time of 21.22. That's a 21.22.
I know. Perfect.
Perky Coulter waiting for a start and on course on the women's side. Ben Stoops from Busy Central on course on the GS side. Ben working his way to the finish and coming through with a time of 21.15. That's a 21.15. Over on the women's side, that's Brecken Cotter on course, working her way down here towards the flush. Just entered the course over on the men's side from Caledonia, Braden Smith. Finishing up on the women's side, that's Brecken Cotter from Onekma with a 35.35. That's a 35.35. That's Braden Smith from Caledonia working his way down the GS course. Waiting for his start up on top is Reese Teal from Onekma, and waiting for her start Kylie Thompson from Onekama. Braden Smith finishing with a 23.14. That's a 23.14. And from Onekama, Ray Teal waiting for his start. And on course, Kylie Thompson from Caledonia on his slalom side.
I know. That is crazy. This one?
Yeah, this is Kylie Thompson working her way towards the flush, and working his way to the finish also is Reese Teal over from Onekama. Reese finishing first with a time of 21:20. That's a 21.20. And Kylie Thompson comes through with a 37.26, a 37.26. From Glen Lake, Emma Grant waiting for her start. Check that, Elena Grant from Glen Lake waiting for her start. Jaden Thompson, Glen Lake on course for the GS. Jaden Thompson on course, waiting for his start up on top, Keegan Payne. Jaden coming through with a time of 22.91, that's a 22.91. Keegan Payne on course. Elena Grant working her way down to the flush here. And Keegan Payne working hard over there on the GS course. Waiting for the start up on top, that's David from Caledonia, and from Onekama, Annika Hay. Elena just finishing up with a 44.20, 44.20. Elsa Carter from Vinci Central on course. On the men's side, Keegan Payne finished with a 29.79, 29.79. And David Putkicher on course from Caledonia. Annika Haig waiting for her start up on top. This is Elsa Carter working her way through the flush at the bottom. Elsa coming through with a time of 37.05. That's DJ! David over on the GS side coming through with a time of 21.76, 21.76. Waiting for her start up on top from Onekama and Jamie Lampinen. And over on the women's side, that's Annika Haig on course. Up on top from Caledonia, Liz Milton waiting for her start. Jamie Lampin has entered the course. Jamie working his way to the finish here. Jamie coming through with a time of 22.57, 22.57. Justin Thompson from Glen Lake just on course. Aiden O'Dwyer waiting for his start up on top. From Caledonia, Liz Hilton waiting for her start. And the last racer on the women's side, Annika Haig, finished with a time of 41.38.
I set the phone here.
It's a 41.38.
I didn't want someone to step on it.
No, yeah, I think my pocket has been slightly open.
Aiden O'Dwyer waiting for his start.
Did they have like a little race series on Sunday? But she wouldn't have gotten the instruction there.
And from Caledonia, this is Liz working her way towards the flush. Liz finishing her run with a 41.20. That's a 41.20. Waiting for her start up on top. Kendall McNitt from Glen Lake. And just finished from Glen Lake, Justin Thompson with a time of 24.34. That's a 24.34. We're still waiting on start from Aiden O'Dwyer.
I also really
On course.
don't tell
For
coach.
a start up on top, Benjamin Deagle from Caledonia.
Oh, this is Ben Eagle.
And on course on the women's side, that's Kendall, Glen Lake. Sam Morsher waiting for her start up at top. And finishing up down here at the bottom, Aiden O'Dwyer coming through with a time of 21.28. That's a 21.28.
It's not Ben Eagle.
And on the women's side, Kendall,
I don't have snow pants.
Glen Lake is working her way through.
Is that Ben?
Yes, it should be.
Start up on top, Mariah Mosher from Midland Central and Bill Putney from Onekama. On course the GS side, that's Benjamin Deagle from Caledonia. We've got a lady down on the women's side. Hold that course. Kendall is down, but skiing. She's working her way back on course.
How you doing?
Unfortunately, she missed the gate there, and we've got the DQ coming from our gatekeepers down at that station. Again, Kendall, unfortunately, Glen Lake, that is a DQ. She missed the gate down there at the finish. Caledonia, that was Benjamin Deagle with a time of 23:76, and from Onekama, Bill Putney on course. Bill doing a nice job letting those skis running, coming through with a time of 24:69, 24.69. Mariah Mosher on course for the women. Oh, and unfortunately she takes a figure right there. Hopefully she's okay. We've got a hold on solid course, and GS, this is Hawthorne Sutherland working his way to the finish. And Mariah, give us a sign that you're okay there. She is up, unfortunately, has lost that ski. That's going to be a DQ for Miss Mosher. And over on the mid side from Glen Lake, Hawthorne finishing with a 21:38, 21.38. We still have a hold on that slalom course. And again, we appreciate the help from our gatekeeper there. I think our skier's been hurt. And Mariah Mosher.
Still going.
Finishing up in the men's side, that was Cohen Broomfield with a 23:59, 23.59. Again, a big shout out to our gatekeepers. It's cold out there, and they're also first line for our skiers as they're needing help on the hill. And this is Abin Ali from Onekama, finishing with a time of 22.29, that's a 22.29. Bryce Cundiff from Glen Lake on course. And waiting for her start up on top, that's Leah Thompson, who is just on course now. Nikki Brose, waiting for her start up on top. And from Caledonia, that's Gavin Dean, waiting for his start. Bryce Cundiff, coming through our finish line here. Right, coming through at the time of 24:72, 24.72. And Leah Thompson working her way down the hill, waiting up on top. That is Vicky from Caledonia. Also from Caledonia on course, this is Gavin Dean.
Gavin. Go, Gavin.
Looks like it's going to be a close finish between our two contestants here. Both are coming to the finish line, and it looks like Gavin coming in first with a time of 26 flat. That's a 26.00. And Leah finished her run with a 48.56. That's a 48.56. From Caledonia, this is Vicky making her first run, and over on the mid side from Onekama, Landon Tennant.
I only saw like the last turn. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I know. So faster than
Woo! Landon Tennant finished with a 23.97, and that's Porter Martin waiting for his start. Check that. Woo! Should be James Daigle waiting for his start up there on the GS side, and finishing up on the women's side, that was Vicky with a time of 40.48. And Lexi waiting for her start. Lexi from Glen Lake Schools. And this is James from Caledonia on the GS course. Going a lot of snow up there on the top of the hill. Conditions tonight almost perfect, as we've had a lot of snow over the last week, and really has changed race conditions earlier in the week.
Good job, James!
Finishing up James with a time of 25.32. That's a 25.32. Lexi is on course and waiting for her start. Ethan from Onekama.
So the Max. Yeah.
Do you have your snowboard?
No.
There's a couple
James
here.
finishing with a 25.32. That's a 25.32, and that is Ethan from Onekama on course. Lexi finishing her run with a 53.46. Delphia Gaylord from Benzie Central on course, and waiting for her start up on top, Sydney from Onekama. On course for the men, Ethan Kaczynski from Onekama. Ethan finishing up with a time of 28.88. That's a 28.88. Aiden Brown from Caledonia waiting on his start. Althea Gaylord working her way towards the flush down here at the bottom on the women's side. Up on top, Sydney Bentley waiting on her start. Adam Brown, or check that, Aiden Brown just started for Caledonia on the GS side. And just finishing up, Althea Gaylord with a time of 38.94. That's a 38.94. Looks like Aiden is put a hold on GS as he is out of his skis. That is Aiden Brown from Caledonia, the DQ.
That yellow just over the knoll. He hit it really with a lot of speed.
Nito from Onekama waiting on his start of the GS as soon as that course clears.
Earlier than we thought.
Our last race on the women's side, Althea Gaylord finished with a 38.94. And on course now, Sydney Bentley from
Heavy on
Onekama.
that one. All of them still turn
Waiting
earlier
for her
than
start up on top, Katie Price from Caledonia.
Up until that point, he looked stellar, though. He's got great form. Yeah, he's gained a lot of height and
Gears on both courses. Sydney Bentley working her way towards the finish line, and Nito working his way to the finish on the GS side.
Yellow. I mean,
Sydney
it's
finishing
more
with a
yellow than zero.
44.94. That's a 44.94, and Kitty Price
Anything
on
on
course.
the GS first, these boys have to be
Kato
earlier
Nito
than
finished with a
the
27.16. That's a 27.16.
Oh, I think it's this one.
We got Peter Calhoun from Caledonia waiting on his run.
Perfect, thank you so much.
Kaylee Price on course on the slalom side, and up on top, that's Ashley Blackmore from Onekama waiting on
I
her
was too
start.
scared, so I just like ski normally, like it wasn't great.
right. Well, now you know. You got one done, you get a second run.
This is Peter Calhoun from Caledonia, just entered the course GS side. And just finishing up on the slalom side, that's Kaylee Price coming through with a 45.04, the 45.04. Alicia Blackmore just entered the course for the women in Tamara from Caledonia.
Hey, James, how do you have
Ready
your
for
name
her
on
start. This is Peter Calhoun working his way towards the finish. Solomon got a slight hiccup, and she's working her way back into the course. Peter finishing with a 39.77. That's a 39.77. Ashton's doing a great job of hiking there, and she is back on course, earning herself a second run. Laying him down quick there, trying to make up for lost time, and coming through with a time of 48.78. That's a 48.78. Tomorrow, from Caledonia on course, and Luke Smith on course from Caledonia.
I got it. Oh, yeah.
And Peter Calhoun came through with a 39.77, and Luke Smith, that was a 26.29, 26.29.
There's yellow tape over there.
That one.
Mine has my name on the tag
From
on the
Caledonia,
bottom.
also on the beach, and that's riding Widdell
So you don't
on
get a
course.
second.
And finished up over here with the women tomorrow with a time of 46.52. That's a 46.52. From Aneka, Alejandra waiting for her start. And Raylan Wallama
Right.
from Caledonia waiting on his start.
We don't get second provisionals, do we? Okay, just double checking. Thank you.
Raylan on course.
Oh, this one's yours.
I'm really disappointed in my performance.
Dude, I got so late on the last one.
Yes.
You're on the GS side, finishing up with a time of 29.31.29.31. Maxwell Dahl, Caledonia on course. Women, Alejandra finishing up with a 44.91.
I saw. I was like, oh no.
44.91.
At least I got that here.
Yeah.
On course from Caledonia, that looks like Zosa Zerbeck. Finishing up on the GS side, that's Maxwell Dahl with a time of 28.12. That's a 28.12. Also from Caledonia, Mason Langland.
Yep.
Langland.
Where's he at? There he is. Dude, I was super good. Through the through gate. And then I got
way towards the flush here is Zosa. And Piper Putney just entered the course from Onekama.
Put your hands up a little bit. Love to see it.
Zosa finishing up with a 46.98.
You got another run.
That's a 46.98.
Good work.
Men's side, Mason finished with a 27.52. That's a 27.52. James Pritchard from Caledonia. Notice that there's a run of Caledonia skiers. They've got a B team that are all taking a run here. And again, over the women's side, this is Piper Putney from Onekama on course. Waiting up on top, Madison from Caledonia on the slalom side, and on the men's side, Jackson Pugh from Caledonia. Piper Putney just finished up 41.51. That's a 41.51. And James Pritchard, 26.24, 26.24. Jackson Pugh on course. Madison should be making her way down the hill here in just a second.
Come on.
Jackson working his way to the finish line with a time of 31.91. That's a 31.91. James Harper on course for Caledonia. We've got the clock running over here for Madison on the slalom side here. She is over the head wall. Madison obviously had a little bit of an issue on the top part of that course. She's finishing up now down here towards the flush. Over on the GS side, James Harper finishing up 24.94. That's a 24.94. Madison finishing up with a 58.32. That's a 58.32.
My coat and pockets are all out. Like all the pockets are out.
On course for the women, that's Aldo Whistler.
Jack, I'm over here.
It's not from the coat. Good job, man.
Oh, that's fine. Sorry? Yep. Jackson, I think they said I was you. Maybe.
They said my number something, so I don't know. That was mine, all the pockets out?
Yeah, look how I'm not sure who's this. I'm the man over here.
Ada finishing up the run with a 57.85. That's a 27.85.
1 second.
Looks like Peter Calhoun waiting for his start up on top. That looks like we're back around. I think the mid side is done. That first run. First call of the mid side for first run. If you're not taking that first run, looks like our first runners are all done on the mid side. We'll wait just a moment, let them slip that course. We'll flip things and start again. Over here on the women's side, Ada from Onekama on course.
They ride differently. This is the first time anybody's seen gigs.
This is Ada working her way through the bottom part of the bottom course here. Catherine on course also.
Yeah, James, it's still on. Yeah, it's still on.
See you guys later.
What's up right here? Or is this only teams? Alright, I have no idea who this is, and I don't see them, so.
Hey, you look good for running.
That was my first time on date this whole season.
Everybody's first time on date. Do you guys race this weekend?
This weekend,
Tyler missed his first race last weekend. He didn't have a race for everything. Practice tonight. They're going to Minnesota, I think. They were in Minnesota last weekend. Maybe this weekend they're in Wisconsin.
We have flipped things for the men's side and getting ready to start that second run for the men. Yeah, this is Elizabeth working her way down from Caledonia. Her last women finisher was Catherine, a 55.60, that's a 55.60. Over here on the men's side, the second run, this is Colin Casbin from Glen Lake on course. Elizabeth's finishing up with a 106.56. Check that 106.96. And this is Ada Peterson from Caledonia making the last run for the women. Colin Casbin finished that second run with a 21.04 and a combined time of 42.26. Braden Sorensen from Onekama on course for the GS. Over here in the women finishing up the run, that is Ada Peterson from Caledonia. Eric Pritchard finished that second run with a 24.07. That's a 24.07. Unfortunately, had a DNF on that first run, so no final result. From Busy Central, this is Miles Luther on course.
Don't wipe out and hurt you, bro. It's either going to be angry or upset. It's going to...
And this is Lily Wolf taking her first run, our second run over on the slalom side. As the women have flipped over to their second run. Waiting for a start over on the men's side from Glen Lake, that is Jaden Thompson. Miles Luther finished his run with a 21.83. That's a 21.83. Combined time of 43.03. Jaden Thompson on course. Lily Wolf finished her run with a 31.69. That's a 31.69. Willa Murray from Glen Lake on course. And Erin Peckman waiting for her start up on top. Jaden just finished up with a time of 21.86. It's a 21.86. From Onekama, Ray Steele just entered the course. And up on top, waiting for a start, Jaden Thompson. Willa Murray working her way towards the flush here, and coming through with a time of 32.11. That's a 32.11. Aaron Pickham from Caledonia on course. And from Anekama, Reese Teal finishes a time of 21.32. That's a 21.32. Reed Smith from Caledonia just on course. And over here on the women's side, Aaron Peckham from Caledonia.
I've got like so many layers. Blue is the lowest.
How do I get it? It's like cool.
You just tap it down.
Yeah, Brady.
Much better, dude.
Braden Smith finishes with a 23.06, 23.06. Then Stoops waiting on his start up on top. Aaliyah Blackmore waiting on her start, and Aaron Peckham finished with a 45.11. That's a 45.11. Ben Stoops is in at the course on the GS side.
Oh, I thought it was his hand.
It's slower, 45, I think, but solid.
Ben coming through with a 20.81, a 20.81. Total time of 41.96. It's a 41.96. Justin Thompson waiting for his start up on top. Leah Blackmore on course for the women, and Elsa Carter waiting for her start. Check that, Elsa Carter just on course. Aaliyah finishing her run with a 30.53. That's a 30.53. Justin Thompson on course, and Aiden O'Dwyer waiting for his start up on top. Elena Grant waiting for her start. Elsa Carter on course. This is Elsa Carter coming through the flush and heading home here. Coming through at the final time of 38.08. That's a 38.08. Total time of 1:15.13, putting her currently in fourth place. Elena Grant on course from Glen Lake, waiting for the start up on top. Kylie Thompson from Caledonia. Over on the men's side, that's Jamie Lefton from Onekama, finishing up 22.36. That's a 22.36. Total time of 44.93. David Poultinger from Caledonia on course. And Kylie Thompson waiting for her start up on top. This is Elena Grant working her way through the rhythm section of the slalom course. Over on the men's side, this is David Poultinger from Caledonia. He's got an issue there, slid out of course. I don't know if he's going to hike or not. We'll see. Finishing up on the women's side, that is Elena Grant with a 46.38. 46.38. And we've got a hold on the GS side. That is Kylie Thompson. Kylie Thompson finished up 37.09. That's a 37.09 and on course from Onekama. This is Brecken Cutter. Over on the men's side, Keegan Payne on course. Jamie Lefton.
My shin guard.
Total time of 49.26. From Caledonia, Benjamin Eagle on course.
Oh, Ben. Come on.
Liz Hilton on course for the women over on the slalom side, working her way through the rhythm section. Annika Hay waiting for her start up on top.
Lower. Come on, Ben, come on!
Nice job, Ben.
Total time of 47.78. Aiden O'Dwyer waiting on his start. Finishing up on the women's side, that's Liz coming through with a time of 41.73. Total time, 1:22.93.
I haven't seen it.
Aiden O'Dwyer on course.
Okay. Do you have mine? It should be in the bag. Yeah,
Waiting for his start up on top, that's Bryce Cundra from Glen Lake. And again, over on the bottom side, this is Annika Hay from Onekama on course. Finishing up, this is Aiden O'Dwyer coming through at a time of 24:25. That's a 24.25. Total time of 45:53. 45:53. We've got a little hiccup on the rhythm section of the slalom over there.
Such a bad spot for skiing.
Back to the gate. Looks like most skis are on, and she's going to try to get a finish run.
Well, I have my chin guard. My chin guard is just missing.
Alley waiting on the start for Nekama. Bryce coming through with a time of 24:29. That's 24.29. The total time
They were in the thing, and then I found them tossed on the ground over here, and then the chin guard. Here it is.
Alley on course. And over here on the women's side, she's done her hiking and is back on course. This is Annika Haig.
Where'd you put
Finishing
it?
up on the
I gave it to
GS side.
Gavin,
with a
and
time
Gavin
of
said he was going to get this one.
22:64. That's a 22.64. Total time of 44:93. That's a 44:93. Annika Haig, last competitor over the women's side, waiting for her start up on top of Mia Gaylord. Court Broomfield waiting for his start over on the GS side.
I have too much stuff in my head.
This is Althea Gaylord on course. Cohen from Caledonia just into the course at GS side.
So if I wipe out again, does that mean I don't get all the
Oh, you wiped out?
serious?
Cohen laying down a nice run there, coming through with a time of 23:09. That's a 23:09. Total time of 46:68. Total time of 46.68. Althea Gaylord finishing up the run with a time of 40.41. That's a 40.41. Total time of 1:19:35. That's a 1:19:35. From Glen Lake, Lexi Aylesworth on course. Waiting for her start up on top from Caledonia, that's Vicky Brosso. And over on the mid side from Onekama, Landon Tinnett on course. And from Caledonia, Gavin Dean waiting for his start. Landon finishing up, time of 23:76. That's a 23.76. Total time 47.73. Gavin Dean on course. And Ethan Kosinski waiting for his start from Onekama. Over the women's side, this is Lexi Ellsworth from Glen Lake, working her way towards the flush down here. Up on top, Vicky from Caledonia, waiting on her start. Races coming through very close together here on the men's side. Gavin Dean coming through with a time of 27.52. That's a 27.52. 53.52 time. Kaczynski on course. And Vicky Rose over here on the slalom side, just coming over the head wall. Finished up Lexi Aylesworth with a time of 47.11.
I kept on going out.
47.11. Total time of 140.57. Here, this is Vicky Roseworth we're seeing on course. Leah Thompson from Onekama waiting for her start. James Seigel on course for the men. And Ethan Kosinski just finished with a 27.69. That's a 27.69. This is James Deagle from Caledonia on course. And Leah Thompson from Onekama on course. Waiting for the starts up on top. Kylie from Caledonia. And on the mid side from Onekama, Kato Nito.
Is that the right code?
James Deagle finishing up at the time of. This is Peter Calhoun on course.
I guess we're the only ones.
And Luke Smith waiting for his start up on top. Sydney Bentley waiting for her start up on top.
Good job!
Good job, Peter.
Over on the mid side, that is Luke
Great run,
Smith.
Aiden.
And on the women's side, we still got a whole Sydney Bentley, our next skier. Luke Smith finishing up 25.56. That's a 25.56. A 51.85 time. Right at Grubel from Caledonia on course.
Oh, okay. That's who that is.
Braylon Wallama from Caledonia waiting on his start. Over here on the women's side from Anekma, this is Sydney Bentley on course. Up on top, waiting for a start from Caledonia, Tamara. And just finished up down below, that is Rick Reddick with a time of 25.89, 53.48 total time. Just into the course, Braylon Wallama on course from Caledonia. Maxwell Dahl waiting for his start up on top. Just finished up Sydney with a time of 46.57. That's a 46.57. Tomorrow on course from Caledonia. Ashley Blackmore from Anekma waiting for her start up on top. Axel Dahl on course has just finished up down at the bottom. Braylon coming through with a time of 29.29. That's a 29.29. 58.60 total time.
So, Champ, did they get my time? I have no idea. I didn't hear it.
Finishing up here tomorrow, coming through with a time of 43.82. That's a 4.3. Over here on GS is going to be Aaliyah Blackmore from Anekma. Following her with Aaron Peckman, Willa Murray, and Lily Wolf for that first seed run. For our men tonight over here on the slalom course, Miles Luther is sitting on the button. And Derek Pritchard from Caledonia, Braden Sorensen from Anekma, and Colin Casbin from Glen Lake round out that top four. Good. Skiers should be lining up on top. We are ready to start the second round here. Don't forget this race is posted online. You can follow the results as they're happening. Livetiming.com will give you the results from the first round here.
I don't want to know what they do in the back. You don't want to know what they do. Oh, my mom. So we told her, like, next time, it works out. I have that look like. Because we're like, okay. We have a car top.
That is Miles Luther waiting for his start.
Where, here?
Miles is on course. Derek Pritchard. Check that. Miles on course and Derek Pritchard from Caledonia waiting on his start. Aaliyah Blackmore from Anekma on course and waiting for her start up on top, Aaron Peckham. Miles working his way through the finish line, coming through with a time of 31.23. That's a 31.23. Aaliyah Blackmore finishes up a time of 22 flat. That's a 22.00. From Caledonia, Aaron Peckin on course, and Glen Lake, Willa Murray waiting for her run. Derek Pritchard on course, and Braden Sorensen waiting for his start. Aaron Peckham finishing up the run there, coming through with a time of 28.65. That's a 28.65. Willa Murray is in at the course. Lily Wolf waiting for her start up on top. Over on slalom, Derek Pritchard working his way through the finish line here, coming through with a time of 36.59. That's a 36.59. Braden Sorensen from Anekma just on course. Colin Casbin waiting for his start. Lily Wolf on course in the GS, and Brecken Kotler from Anekma waiting for the start. Willie Murray finished with a 22.59. That's a 22.59. Braden Sorensen working through the flush and heading to the finish line. Braden coming through with a time of 26.55. That's a 26.55. Lily Wolf finishing for Vinci with a 22.78. That's a 22.78. Brecken Cotter on course for the TS course. Connie Thompson waiting on her start. Pin Stoops waiting on his start, and Colin Casbin on course. This is Breckin Cotter coming through GS with a time of 28:35, 28.35. Connie Thompson from Caledonia on course, and Reese Teal waiting for his start up on top. Miscue there at the end, and Braden Smith coming through with a 35.23. That's a 35.23. Reese Teal on course, and Jaden Thompson waiting for his startup on top. Over the women's side, Elsa Carter on course. Annika Haig waiting for her startup on top. Elena Grant finished with a time of 30.04. Elsa Carter coming through at the time of 25.22. That's a 25.22. Annika Haig waiting for the start. Jaden Thompson over here on the slalom side waiting for a start. And Reese Teal finishing 32.45. That's a 32.45. Annika on course. Liz Hilton waiting for her start. Jaden Thompson waiting for his start up on top. Annika Haig on course. Liz Hilton waiting for her start up on top. Annika coming through at the time of 27.15. It's a 27.15. Liz Hilton on course. Kendall McNett waiting for her start. And we've got a little bit of a glitch here on the slalom course. That is Jaden Thompson. Taking a hike there. He missed something in the flush. Himself a clean finish in his second run as he comes through with a 53.16. It's a 53.16. Kendall McNett on course. Brian Mosher waiting for her start up on top. Liz Hilton finished with a 27.99. 27.9. Leah Thompson on course. And Vicky Bruce waiting for her start up on top. This is David from Caledonia finishing up his run. David coming through. 31.31. That's a 31.31. Hoffman Sutherland on course. Leah Thompson over here on the GS just finishing up. Vicky Bruce waiting up top. Leah coming through with a 30.50. That's a 30.50. Vicky Bruce on course. And Lexi Ellsworth waiting for her start. Hoffman Sutherland over here on the men's side on course. David Porter just came through with a 31.31 and waiting for his start up on top. Jamie Leppin and Riley. Nice run through the flush there, and Hawthorne comes through with a time of 29.82. That's a 29.82. This is Jamie Riley on course. Vicky Bruce just finished up on the women's side with a 27.51. That's a 27.51.
Thank you.
This is Lexi Aylesworth waiting for her start.
Hey, you guys not have that go?
And Jamie Leppinen on course over here on the slalom side. Hawthorne Sutherland finished with a 29.82. Jamie finished with a 35.33. Vicky over on that GS side with a 27.51. And Lexi Aylesworth on course. Theo Gaylord waiting for her start. Benjamin Deppy on course for the Caledonia and waiting for her start up on top. Phil Putney from Anekama. Lexi Ellsworth works her way through finish line with a time of 37.35. That's a 37.35. Althea Gaylord enters the course. And
Let's go,
Sydney
Ben.
Finley looking for her start up on top. Over on the men's side, this is Phil Putney waiting on his start. Benjamin Deagle finished with a 34.28, and Phil Putney has just entered the course. Justin Thompson from Glen Lake waiting on his start. Althea Gaylord working her way to the finish line here up on top. Sydney Finley waiting on her start. Kylie just finished her time with a 33.64. That's a 33.64. This is Cohen Brookfield working through the flush and heading to the finish line. Cohen coming through with a time of 35.53. Yes, that's right, our first numeric palindrome of the night. It's a 35.53. On course, Auburn Alley from Onekama and Bryce Cundum waiting for his start up on top. Over on the women's side, Caledonia, that was Kaylee Price with a 33.64, 33.64, and Ashlyn Blackmore just entered the course. Tamara from Caledonia waiting on her start on top.
I don't know.
Also waiting on the start on top, Bryce Cundrum from Glen Lake, and on course currently, Auburn Alley from Onekama working through the flush and heading to the finish line. Auburn coming through with a time of 32.48. That's a 32.48. Bryce Cundrum on course. Gavin Dean waiting up top. And Tamara on course with Paige Putney waiting on top. Tomorrow working her way towards the finish line here and coming through with a time of 30.25. That's a 30.25. Over on the mid side, that was Bryce Cundrum coming through with a 34.77, 34.77. Gavin Dean from Caledonia just entered the course. Landon Tinneman waiting on his start from Onekama. Over here on the women's side, it's Piper Putney from Onekama. Doing a little hiking on that solemn side, but doing a good job. And over on the women's side, this is Piper Putney. We do have a hole on the women's side, or check that on the solemn side. Piper coming through with a 31.47. That's a 31.47. Zosia Servat from Caledonia on course. Alejandra Gill from Onekama on deck. And over here on the men's side, this is Gavin Dean working towards the finish line. Gavin had to hike a little bit in the middle of the course there. Comes through the time of 1 minute, 0.30, 60.30. Over on the women's side, Madison Reynolds finished with a 28.92. That's a 28.92. From Caledonia, Adia Whistler on course. And Adia Kosinski waiting for the start from Onekama. Adia just coming through at a time of 35.74. That's a 35.74. Adia Kosinski from Onekama on course.
Yeah, they're I would mess them up too.
I don't know where you're going.
And for those of you following this race online, you will notice that some of our racers are racing as a B team. That is literally just that. They are not scored in the overall team score, but they do get individual scores. So our B team skiers, you're starting to see some of them come through now, are again not scored for team scores, but they are scored for individual scores. That was Ada Whistler from Caledonia who finished with a time of 35.74, and Ada Kaczynski who finished with a 42.52. That's a 42.52. Catherine Honhart from Caledonia on course, and Elizabeth Honhart in the deck. Caledonia, Aiden Bowen, looks like that's going to be a DNF, and up on top waiting for his start is Kato Nito. Back to the women's side, this is Catherine Honhart. It looks like a sister grouping coming here as Elizabeth is waiting for her start up on top. That's a 32.74, 32.74. Kaczynski came through with a 42.53. time to. That's a 42.52. This is Bonhart. On course now is Ada Peterson. Caledonia waiting on her start. Over on the midside, this is Katie Nito.
Just popped out.
Ethan Kaczynski finished his run with a 44.55. That's a 44.55. Again, this is Elizabeth Bonhart on course on the women's side. Finishing up with the men, this is Cato with a time of 38.41. That's a 38.41. Elizabeth just finished with a 38.23. That's a 38.23. Ada Peterson on course. Over the men's side, that's James Harper on course. And right Rubel waiting for his start up on top.
I think they did. I guess they did. It didn't feel like that at this stage. Because once they turned things, I looked up and the gate was back.
Or we can just give them like a little break.
I was gonna say.
Well, they talk
Caledonia, that's Steve Smith working through the flush.
a screwdriver, and if he can just crank you up a little.
Yeah, waiting for his start up on top. That's Writing, who is just on
Finish,
board.
finish, 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 finish!
Come on!
Finish! Roll over it!
Fell right at the finish line.
Come on,
but
come on,
he
come
is
on.
Not done yet.
Come on!
Information for all of our spectators out there. You are allowed to finish with only 3 pieces of equipment. That last gate, he can finish without his ski on. But he knew enough to get up and get through that finish line and get a time. It was a 55.17. Good for him. Reddick Wubble is on course, and I think we've got Braylon waiting for his start up on top. Women, we are ready to start that second run, so all women, please head to the top. We're ready to start that second run. Reddick just finished up with a 42.55. That's a 42.55, leading us with Braden Washa on.
No. I actually did this call for that one. Because when we watched the video of it, when he did his pirouette and his popped off,
Because they've come down with a couple of reps. They're just training.
This is Braden on course.
Oh, Luke, I found her.
Maxwell Dahl waiting for his start up on top. This is Braden Walma.
It's right there. Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, that sucked. All right, where's my code at?
Braden from Caledonia working his way through our flush there. And
Dude, I'm sorry.
find our women's skiers.
We got it on film.
Ready on the women's side to get the GS going.
I'm sorry to
They're
laugh.
all racers heading to the top.
couldn't help.
Running orders have been reversed, so reverse the order for those seats.
Over.
Smoking hot body. Turns that up. Hey, this is the red light. Do you want me to? Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Mason finished with a 45.25. That's a 45.25. This is Jackson Pugh coming through. Jackson with a time of 55.77. That's a 55.77. And I believe this is our last male racer over here for the first run. That's James Pritchard on course. We're still waiting on the women to get the GS side to start again.
50 years old!
No, you good.
Just reminded me of the really good shot. She just turned 50.
Looks like Lily Wolf from Busy Central will be taking their first run off of that second run in GS. Finishing up over here on the slalom though, this is James Pritchard with a time of 42.39. That's a 42.39.
Well, I did terrible. I got 55.
And Willa Murray waiting for her start up on top. This is Lily Wolf on course.
Yeah, saying that hairpin at the very top.
I forgot all about that. Okay, so
Me too.
that one right there.
Lily Wolf just came through with a time of 22.76. That's a 22.76. That is 2/10 of a second different than your first run. She had a 22.78 and a 22.76. That's amazingly consistent skiing. Time of 45.54 for a numeric palindrome to finish her night off.
That's the case. So then,
This is Willa Murray on course. Willa skiing for Glen Lake and up at top, waiting for her start, Erin Peckham from Caledonia.
after the next thing,
Again, we're going to take just a moment to slip through the slalom course, and then you'll be heading back up there. So all male racers back up to the top of that second run. This is Willa Murray on course. Willa coming through with a 22.87. That's a 22.87. Also very consistent racing for Willa. Time of 45.46. That's a 4.5 through with a 25-second flat. That's a 25.00. Gives her a time of 50.22. That's a 50.22. Currently in fourth place.
That would look really cool if you landed it.
This is Elena Grant on course, and Kylie Thompson from Caledonia waiting for the start. Over the men's side again, course repair being done there as they're slipping that out, but asking all of our male competitors to start heading to the top as we're ready for the second run over there. Over the women's side, this is Elena Grant on course, and Kylie Thompson waiting on her start on deck.
So,
Elena Grant gets a 31.23. That's a 31.23. Total time of 101.27. Kylie Thompson on course. Brecken Kotler. Check that, Brecken Cotter waiting for the start. Kylie must have done a little hiking up there on top because she is still skiing but carrying a pretty big time. Carrying some great speed down here at the bottom of the hill and trying to make up the time with a 41.40 for Kylie. That's a 41.40 or 107.74 total time. Brecken Cotter on course
yeah, I know what it was like
waiting
there.
for a start up on top from Lindsay. That's Mariah Mosher.
I just want to make sure you guys know where your stuff is going to be at the office. Because we do have to empty out this area.
That's Mariah Mosher on course, and she is going to be coming through with a time of 26.60. That's a 26.60. Total time of 40. Check that, 52.51. That's a 52.51. Currently in fifth place. Kendall McNitt on course. Liz Hilton from Caledonia waiting on the start. And we're just about ready to get things going over there on the mid-slalom course. And they had to do a couple of sides. Annika Haig coming through with a time of 27.13. 27.13. Althea Gaylord ready for her start.
Oh my god.
Lexi Ellsworth waiting for her start. Althea Gaylord on course. Over here on the mid-side, this is Colin Casbin. Just coming over the head wall. Waiting on his start up on top from an Ekima, that's Braden Sorensen. This is Althea Gaylord looking towards the finish line over here on the GS course and coming through with a time of 29.46. That's a 29.46. Again, two very consistent times here. Althea, time of 58.75, 58.75. Lexi Aylesworth on the course. Vicky Bruce from Onekar, Caledonia, waiting on her start up on top. Colin Casbin finished his run with a 30.72. That was a total time of 59.93. That's the time to beat, a 59.93. Braden Sorensen on course. Waiting for his start up on top. That's Derek Pritchard from Caledonia.
Oh wait,
Lexi Aylesworth is on course and finishing up over here on the women's side. Lexi came through with a 33.94, but it looks like we missed a gate up there somewhere. That's going to be a DQ for Lexi. Vicky Brucey on course. And Leah Thompson waiting on her stop over there. Braden Sorensen finished up his run over here with a 27.18, 27.18, and that gives him a 53.73. 53.73 puts him in first place by a lot. There's Derek Richards on course, and Miles Luther waiting for his start. Leah Thompson waiting for her start over on the GS side. Just finished up with GS. That was Vicky with a 27.09. Derek is on course and just coming through our flush there as he finishes up the course and comes through with a time of 35.92. That's a 35.92. Miles Luther on course. Leah Thompson on course for the women, and Kylie Price waiting on her start. Just finishing up. Sydney Bentley finished with a 31.93, a 31.93, 102.43 finished. That's a 102.43. Tamara on course, just finishing up here. We've got a hike on GS, but over here on slalom it is Braden Smith. And Ben Stoops is on deck. This is Braden Smith finishing up his run. Coming out at a time of 33.32, 33.32, a total time of 108.55. Ben Stoops just entered the course. Hawthorne Sutherland waiting on his start. From Onekama, Ashlyn Blackmore has just entered the course. And waiting up on top is Zosia Zubek. Yeah, this is Ben Stoops coming through the flush and looking for the finish here. Ben comes through the time of 28.73, 28.73, saved a good chunk off that first time. Finished with a time of 58.04, that's a 5.804. This is Hawthorne Sutherland just entered the course, and Jamie Lampin and Riley waiting for his start. Gosia on course, and Ashlyn finished up with a 26.76, that was a 2.676, total time of a 54.77. Again, this is Zosia finishing up her run and coming through with a time of 28.66, 28.66, total time of 58.25, that's a 58.25. Piper Putney on course. Over here in the mid-size, it's Jamie Lampin Riley. Looks like he might have had a little ski problem there. Coming up with the flush and through the last ribbon part there, and Keegan Payne with a time of 40.73. That's a 40.73. Total time of 120.19. Over the women's side, we're waiting on Jasmine Lapp to start her run. Jasmine is not here tonight. Chill, Pat.
Hey, nice run.
Adia Whistler finished her run. That was a 34.89. That was a 34.89. Total time of 110.63. That's a 110.63. Yeah, that Adia put you in first place currently. Great run for that second run.
Yeah, you know who Jackson is. Do you know where he put the coats?
Catherine Honard from Caledonia on course.
They have like a white
We
tape
printed
on
our
the
B
thing.
team skiers over the women's side. Again, all those women will be getting their scores, but will not be kept as part of the team scores. Over here on the men's side, we're waiting on Phil Putney. Phil is on course. And over here on the women's side, Catherine Horner finishing her run with a time of 34.89. That's a, check that, 31.60, 31.60. Nita on course.
What?
And Elizabeth Honart
Right there.
waiting for her start up on top. Phil Putney about halfway down the hill over here on the slalom course.
This one is not me.
Again, lots of fresh snow tonight, but the cold temperatures are keeping everything in place and it's skiing really well for our first race of the year. This is Philip Putney's run is a 33.89, 33.89, 107.72 for the finish. That's Benjamin Diger on course. Benjamin from Onekma, he's no Dwyer waiting on
He said it
busy up on top.
every time.
Yeah, my phone should also be.
I wonder. That is funny. He probably heard us before.
Looks like Aiden's going to be a DQ or a DNS, what that would be. Did not start as he has been injured in that first run this morning. Elizabeth Honart on course. Ada finished her run with a 39.20, 121.72 for the time, final time. Ada Peterson on course, and Elizabeth Honart just finished her run with a 39. From Onekma. Yeah, looks like he's in our Shadowland up there, but he looks like he's struggling to get his ski back on. I think we might have a DQ up there. Yeah, we got a little bit of a hold there. Again, on the women's side, we are finished for the night. Congratulations, ladies. And again, we ask our course workers and athletes to please head up and slip that course out and get the GS gates off the hill.
So, pressure 2-hour ride or...
Yeah, I'm not sure who won on that. I'm not sure.
From Onekma, this is Abid Ali coming through, finishing with a time. Check that. Well, that was a DQ as he lost his ski on the course. Again, that GS course is finished. Down here at the bottom, the GS fences on that outside, the fence closest to the chair can be pulled down. If we have any volunteers out there, I know it's a cold night and you want to go home, but so does everyone. So the quicker we get everything torn down, the quicker everybody gets inside. Right now, GS is done for the night. Please help to get that course teared, and we can also be pulling the box down here at the bottom. This is Colin Broomfield from Caledonia on course. Abid Ali had a DQ.
Nice. Good job, Colin. Did you ever hear Ben's time?
Landon Tennant
Did he call him?
on course. Up on top, Gavin Dean waiting for his start. Colin Broomfield finished with a 35.13. That's a 35.13. Total time of 110.4 seconds better. This is Landon Tennant from Onekma finishing up his run. And waiting on a start up on top. It's on course now, Gavin Dean.
Kind of like the only other
Landon finishing his run with a 36.67. That's a 36.67.
I don't know.
122.38.
They look more like snow cats.
Yeah, this is Gavin Dean on course.
Oh, yeah. I don't see anybody coming.
Is that James Diggle?
Diggle?
Oh my goodness, did you guys see Diggle?
Yes, Diggle. The Diggle. He changes it every time.
Peter Calhoun on course and Luke Smith waiting for his start. And again, big shout out to our course workers and athletes helping to get that GS course pulled. Don't forget down here at the bottom, the outside fence, that's the fence closest to the chair, can also be pulled out. This is Peter Calhoun coming through with a time of 40.79. That's a 40.79. From Caledonia, Luke Smith is on course. And also from Caledonia, Riding Whittle is waiting for his start up on top. Things are wrapping up tonight. Again, a big shout out to all of our volunteers and a huge shout out to the people who come and help make these races work every Wednesday night. We'll be back next Wednesday. I think Claire is joining us. We should have over 100 athletes on the hill on Wednesday next week. This is Luke Smith on course. Luke Smith working his way to the finish and coming through with a time of 42.76. 42.76. This is Rydick Rubble on course from Caledonia and Raylan Walma waiting for his start up on top.
Something's like twisted.
Luke Smith had a time of 42.76, and Rydick Rubble is on course, waiting for the start up on top. Raylan Walma. Raylan on course now. Rydick finishing up his run down here at the bottom with a time of 41.90. That's a 41.90. Total time of 124.45.
I know. No, he makes this time. Is these mine?
Wish. Nah, I got. You think I'm that rich? Come on now.
Again, as we're working our way towards wrapping our first race of the year up, and our course workers and athletes to please head up to the top to help get that solid course pulled down again. Great skiing tonight and a great first race for everyone. Rydick Rubble came through with a time of 41.90 and Raylan Walma just came through with a time of 46.46. It's a 46.46. Maxwell Dahl on course from Caledonia and waiting for the start up there on top, Mason Langland.
My purple is a lot faster.
That's Maxwell Dahl working his way towards the finish line here. Jackson Pugh up on top, waiting for the start. And Mason has just entered the course. Maxwell finished with a 43.41. 4.3.
I'll look for it.
Yeah, like
Final race of the night was James Pritchard, came through with a 42.64. That's a 42.64. Our top three over there on the men's side from Anekaba, Braden Sorensen with a time of 53.73. From Benzie Central, Ben Stoops with a time of 58.04. And from Twin Lake, Colin Casman with a time of 59.93. That's a 59.93.
I have an extra pair. I'm just gonna wait and see if they find them.
You guys can't find your snow pants?
No, we put them up there by our skis, and then they were like, they were gonna blow away. At least they have like. Never give them. I already looked at.
You had them up top inside?
I put them down on the ground, and then people from our team were like, "Oh, we moved them."
What brand are they?
Fighter.